Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also The Brink, and today I want to talk about some conspiracy theories, and specifically in the Steam Deck. What has Gabe Newell done now to prevent us from getting the... No, nothing. He hasn't done anything. So we'll stop that right there. Conspiracy theory debunked. Gabe is still the Lord. But really, I want to talk about some numbers that someone that did a Reddit post on and has crunched some numbers that are estimations. You know, they're not precise, but they're interesting. And the reason it's not really conspiracy theory, but it's obviously needs to be taken with a grain of salt, where they could be correct and it could give you a lot of hope, because I think this will give a lot of people hope. I think when we get into these numbers, even people that have semi-recently reserved potentially could give them more hope than they have now potentially. But just thank you, De Blasio. He recommended specifically the video request channel on the Games Revealed server on Discord. And let's get into it. But before we do that, like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar, and now we can get into it. Yeah, it's good. It's looking good. Let's just say that. It goes into a lot of different areas that could be wrong, could be right, like I said earlier. But right here, from the data from that calculator I shared in another video, it shows the differences between the different devices that people... This essentially, I believe, is how many people have used that service to check their devices, I believe. If I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments below. So 50% of the people using the calculator have a 512 gigabyte version. And then, you know, the other numbers are right there, which is... It's pretty interesting, actually. And we already knew, Gabe already told us that the 512 gigabyte version was the most popular version of the Steam Deck, and really gave pause to the price, and that he wants to potentially release new versions with more space, which would be smart because 512 is not that much. But it's just, it's interesting. There's the disparity right there. And that means that 64 gigabyte people who reserve that most likely will get their devices much sooner. I kind of wish I would have gone down that route. Yeah, so if you go through all this, the sample size is 855,000 with the numbers below. This sample size right here is 2,238 devices. So, but once we get into more of these numbers, it's going to be coming from another source, which is this right here, Play Tracker, where they estimate about 856,000 estimated players, and with that, that means reservations. So that's how many people have reserved the Steam Deck so far. It's going to be drastically more than that, I think, that's going to want to buy this device. But I think there are a lot of people that aren't sure if they're going to get theirs in the next year. So I think there's been some cancellations and whatnot. And I want to just say once again, don't cancel, just hold on. With these numbers, it could even be, you could be getting it this year potentially. It's just, it's $5. It's worth the wait. Don't get too wrapped up in some of the stuff, I would say. So, and then here's the calculator I told you guys about. It's in the description, so if you really want to look it up and see what your order number is, let me know in the comments below, like what date you're going, that you're getting potentially. And these are all very, I don't know if I'd say rough on some of these, but they're rough. Like this one alone right here has this is like a randomizer though. 2039, you know, I could wait though. Like I can continue doing these videos the way I'm doing right now, but let's get into these numbers and stop me from droning on, I guess. So the estimations right here, and this is the core of what I want to look at. The estimations are 100,000 devices in per month, it sounds like, with a ratio of 30, 30, 40, which I would probably put it more at a ratio. It depends. It really does depend, but I put it more of a ratio of 20, 30, and then 50 probably would be more appropriate of what they would be trying to fulfill at. But once again, I think people that reserve yeah, I don't know. Once again, all just, it's guesstimations in my opinion. But with that ratio right here, you could expect if you got a 64 gigabyte version within this time period of these calculations, which I guess is fairly recent. This post is a very recent post on Reddit. 3.4 months. So within the next few months, it sounds like people that have reserved the 64 gigabyte version potentially could get it. Now, that being said, I will put a caveat, and there's a lot of the comments below in this Reddit post, like that really are important to, I would say, you know, go and read those, because this is very complicated, in my opinion, to essentially try to guess what Valve's doing without them just giving us the information. But really, once they fulfill a certain amount, it will probably ratio out a little bit more, meaning they're not going to just fulfill, you know, so within 3 to 4 months, they're just going to fulfill all those. Like, that's probably going to get spread more into like maybe 12. So some of these other months could go down. They're probably going to spread them out a little differently, potentially. But once again, I think how the reservations do go, though, is also off of like time reserved, quantity and region. So like, that's why I say it's kind of complicated. But even with these numbers, it could show that we get a lot of the Steam Decks fulfilled this year. If these numbers are correct, and if Valve can start pumping out those devices at 100,000 a month, which they're doing only tens of thousands right now for the Q1, but Q2, they say they're going to be ramped up to 100,000 plus. From I believe that's what Gabe said in one of his interviews, or might have been one of the other developers, that they're going to be producing a lot more. And depending on how things go, because this is kind of older tech, like the APU is a little older based on an older architecture, they might even be able to ramp up even quicker. So there's some interesting things that we're going to definitely keep an eye on the next few months, but this is one of them. So I mean, the biggest takeaway from this, you can read, well, if you can't read, I'm sorry, but you can read here. I don't need to pull out every number, but it really does show that there's a high possibility that at the bare minimum that they're on track to be fulfilling after Q3 this year, which would be this year no matter what. It really does give a little bit of hope. I want to give everyone that's reserved the deck, even if it was a couple months ago or today, just give them a little bit of hope that, hey, it's coming. I would really keep an eye on on Q2 is probably when we're going to find out the most on all this. And these are all speculation, all guesstimations, but they're really good. I think they're precise in their the estimation and the statement that they're trying to make. So like with the 100 devices per month, which is what we've been told, the 30-30-40 ratio is, like I said, I think it would be more like a 20-30 or 20-30-50 ratio, but that still could be correct. Those are the numbers. Just wanted to share those. Not a conspiracy theory. Once again, estimations. Let me know in the comments below, once again, what your calculated data is. And also, do you think this data is correct, not correct? Once again, I want to thank you to Blasio for doing this. It's an awesome request, and I think this is good data so far. But once again, it is guesstimation, so it can't be like solidly said, yes, in 10.68 months, these are all going to be fulfilled. But there's a good chance. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. Data!